The $400 million counter lawsuit filed by Justin Baldoni against Blake Lively has been dismissed by the court, as you've all heard by now. Do not believe some of the rumors that are out there. I am here to break it down for you, tell you what's next, tell you what really happened, and give you my unfiltered opinion. As you guys know, I always do. So let's talk about it. In case you have not been following this case, I would urge you to watch one of the previous videos I've done on this case that gives you a background story to what happened. For the rest of us, let's dive right into it. So the first thing to note about this case, a counter lawsuit basically means that when someone files a case against you, you then file a case right back at the person, basically claiming things in relation to the accusations that the person made and giving your own version of facts. In this case, because I read the details of the dismissal very clearly, and I wanted to really give you guys the most accurate description of what I believe happened. And keep in mind, this is my opinion. In this particular case, Blake Lively made claims of sexual harassment. And the countersuit by Justin Baldoni included defamation on her part, or the part of her publicist and Reynolds and whatnot. So what then happens is, if, and this is what I believe was the thinking process of the judge, if you go ahead and you grant that and the suit goes forward, what it would mean is that if anybody, any woman out there who ever files a case of sexual harassment, that you could be countersued for defamation even when the case has not been concluded, because this will set a precedent. And that's what a precedent means. It means this has now happened, the judge has allowed this to happen, and therefore in other cases where a woman could actually have been sexually harassed, because I don't believe that's what happened in Blake Lively's case, but where someone actually was sexually harassed and then they filed a lawsuit, well, they could be countersued for defamation. And I believe that ultimately that was why the judge said, we're going to strike this out because I don't want such a precedent to be set. This is my opinion, and it's all allegedly. However, this does not mean that Justin cannot file another claim against Blake. It would mean that if he does decide to file another claim, it would not be for defamation at this point, because her case is still ongoing. It would have to be for something else. And we have heard that there have been a lot of additional evidence that has come up in Justin's favor, all allegedly, including from Taylor Swift's team, her former lawyer joining his legal team, which would possibly mean even more information from that camp. So I believe that there are other things that they could possibly sue for as at now that don't involve defamation.
Huge news in the Blake Baldoni drama, in a major setback for Justin Baldoni, his countersuit against Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist Leslie Sloan, as well as his lawsuit against the New York Times, all tossed out by Judge Louis Lyman today. The brother of director Doug Lyman, by the way. The judge granted the motion to dismiss the $400 million lawsuit filed by Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties against Blake and Ryan Reynolds, which alleged extortion and defamation. He accused her of defaming him. The judge also tossed the $250 million defamation lawsuit against the New York Times. The judge noted, though, that Baldoni's legal team can still amend the claims for breach of implied covenant and tortious interference with contract if they choose to, with a deadline of June 23rd. Basically, Justin can sue her now for being a royal pain in the ass on the set, holding up production with fake illnesses, threatening not to promote the film, demanding unheard of edits on the movie, a producer's credit, shit that no actor should ever be able to get away with on a set. So he can maybe go that route. Not to mention her husband trying to Bigfoot Baldoni, getting him to change his shooting schedule for It Ends With Us so that Blake can visit with him on set of Deadpool. You work around me. You're a separate production. Anyway, this is a stunning legal victory for Blake, no question. And according to People magazine, she feels vindicated. She cried with relief. But if Baldoni has more support in the court of public opinion, which I believe he absolutely does, I don't see this doing anything to change that. The opposite is true, it seems, right? If people perceive that she tried to Bigfoot this guy on the set and now she just did it legally, isn't that worse for her? I mean, if it goes to court, which it no doubt will in March 2026, Baldoni comes in perhaps an even more maligned victim and she twice the bully. So many questions, right? My biggest question is, why now? Like, couldn't this have been done back in February? Like, here we are in June, and the judge is throwing out the defamation suit. Not much has changed. Like, if you say someone defamed you, let's look at why he did it. If you say someone defamed you, as Justin did, right, you're implying that that person made something up about you. Judge Lyman is saying that Ryan and Leslie Sloan calling Justin Baldoni a sexual predator is not defamation because based on the knowledge that those two had, which is Blake's, CRD complaint that she filed in California back in December, to them, based on that filing, to them it was true.
Some of you may wonder, but why was the case against the publicist and Ryan Reynolds struck out as well, since that too was about defamation? Because the judge felt like whatever they said was within their job and their role. In the publicist's case, her client claimed sexual harassment, and so she put out information claiming that Blake was sexually harassed. In the husband's case, he was acting as a husband, whatever. I don't necessarily agree with the decision when it comes to Ryan Reynolds, if I have to be honest, but I understand not wanting to set that specific precedent for possible real victims that there could be in the future that could then be countersued for defamation anytime they sued for sexual harassment. So keep that in mind. They're two different things. You can understand why the judge did it, but you can also still believe that everything that Justin claimed happened in terms of the defamation actually happened. And that's something else that I want to really specify. This judgment does not mean that the things that Justin claimed in his countersuit did not happen. The judge didn't say that. All he said is he basically did not want to set this precedent, but he never said that the things that Justin claimed did not happen. So for anybody out there trying to spread those lies, it is a bloody lie. He never said it. Another thing that I want to also make clear is the suit that Blake has against Justin, she hasn't won that. So I know her publicist probably quickly rushed to put this in TMZ and all of those outlets to say, oh, big win for Blake Lively. I saw it. This isn't a big win. Her case is still ongoing and she hasn't won her case. And based on what I have seen in those documents, I don't even see the basis for her to win her case. And it's also not over for Justin, because Justin can very well decide to sue again for other things that happen that do not involve defamation. And Justin can also has the option of waiting this out, defend himself in court against Blake Lively's claims. And if he wins that case, then go ahead and say, I won the case, now I'm suing you for defamation. So for all of those Justin supporters out there that are demoralized right now, do not be. This is not a loss for Justin. It's just a hurdle on the road to justice. So sometimes it happens. The law is, sometimes when it comes to law, it's not really black or white. The law can be very like, yeah, I see what you're saying, but I don't want to give you this judgment because I don't want it to be like this for future victims. It can be like that sometimes. So it happens. Don't get demoralized. Do not get discouraged. Another thing that I want to really point out is I have noticed that there's been a lot of heavy hitters really working behind the scenes. And I'm speaking, it's all alleged, but really working behind the scenes in this case. And I actually did another episode about that, just about Hollywood in general and their role in most of these kind of things that we're hearing of, because for me, it's beginning to really, really be obvious how loud some of the silence is. Some silence is really loud, guys. I feel like there's so much going on behind the scenes, because you guys think about it. Blake and Ryan would do anything not to lose this case, because they've technically lost their reputation, whatever is left of it. If they lose this case as well, I mean, it will be over. So I think they're pulling a lot of strings behind the scenes. But I also think that we should not give up this fight just yet, but also be very wary that a lot of things are happening behind the scenes. And the lawyer that joined Justin's team, who happens to be Taylor Swift's former lawyer, I think that's a good thing too, because listen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't know what's going on, but I find it very strange that someone who's supposed to be Blake Lively's very good friend at some point, her lawyer would be joining Justin Baldoni's team if Taylor Swift was not aware of it and was not in support of it. I would almost say maybe she pushed for it. Maybe her dad pushed for it. I don't know, but I think she would also be adding things to that lawsuit as well, to the case as well. So fingers crossed, guys. Do not get discouraged. Anytime there's any update that I think you guys need to hear, I'll be here to talk about it, give you my opinion on it. I try to keep you guys updated with like the shorts when the stuff that happens throughout the day or throughout the week, but I come here to give you guys like real long form opinion pieces, just so we stay connected and whatnot. And please do not forget to like, share, subscribe. That's how we keep this channel going. So if you want to support what I'm doing, absolutely like, share, and subscribe. And see you next time. Bye, guys.